What's up, YouTube? It's Will Qua. I'm back with another video. Today we're reacting to why is everyone quitting the 40-hour work week. And like that shit is it's crazy because like the people at my job, like I work at Amazon and shit, and people they don't even want to work there. Certain like and the people that do want to work there, like, oh, hippie, hooray, like going in happy to clock in. Like I don't get how the fuck they're happy to do that shit. Like if it's your first time working there, I understand because like you don't understand the shit that you're about to go through. But I mean, it's the simplest work ever. But it's just all a mental game, and you could have like an item like this small, in the bottom of a box full of shit, big ass boxes in a box, like a box in a box. Like, you know what I'm saying? This you have to search for in the bottom of it. And you gotta, like, you know what I'm saying? That shit just is ass. And you gotta meet a fucking rate, like a 90 rate, whatever, pick rate. I be doing like hundreds of, like, I be doing over 90, but I don't struggle with none of that. It's just the fact of, like, it's just the repetitive work. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm about to twitch to something else. I really wanna go back to school and get into HVAC or electricity work or cybersecurity or UX design. It's between cybersecurity and UX design mostly because I want to sit down. I ain't gonna lie. I'm tired of all this walking shit, walking 10 to 15 miles a day. What? Scanning bullshit packages for people like, bro, that shit don't even, that shit's not rewarding. It's not rewarding. Even though work is supposed to just be work. I mean, but you're supposed to work doing some shit that you like to do. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to be stressing yourself out thinking like, oh, I gotta meet this deadline. I gotta do this and that. I mean, yes, that's the obvious. Like you always gonna have that type of struggle. But I mean, at Amazon, bro, they do too much, and it's not even for a big amount of money. You can stack up your bread there, of course, but it's not worth the money. The stress, the mental shit, that shit's not worth the stress. I mean, the money. You know what I'm saying? But I'm doing a lot of yapping. Let's see, I mean, I'm like 2 minutes. But shit, hope everybody's having a good day or night when you're seeing this. Let me know what's your dreams, goals for the rest of this year and next 2025. What you got planned, what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? What you do already. But enough talking. Check the links down in the description. Check my clothing shop if you want to support. Hit the like, subscribe, and let's get into it.
Did you guys see this article that was floating around recently from the CEO of Squarespace where she said Gen Z job seekers should be willing to work for free, work long hours, and willing to do anything? Now, back in my day, that was called volunteering because I was
That's
always taught
crazy.
that if you're ever good at something, you should never do it for free, which is why I never made money as a magician. That's why I do it for free here on YouTube. But here's what's interesting. Do you remember a couple years ago, there was this massive wave of resignations? More than half of the people surveyed in 2021, for example, said that they'd be looking for a new job in 2022. And a lot of those people actually kept their promise because data shows that in 2021, as many as 47 million people quit their jobs, which was the highest year on record until 2022, which became known as the year of the Great Resignation, when over 50 million Americans quit their job. Then in 2023, we got another wave of quitting, which became known as quiet quitting. And it wasn't just
That's what
regular
I
people
did
quitting their
last year.
jobs, but it was also the CEOs. Even though the average paycheck of a CEO was $16.7 million a year, CEOs from companies like YouTube, BP, Walgreens also quit
And niggas
their
like,
positions. And that brings me to
you know what?
2024, which some people are starting to call the year of the Great Resignation 2.0, because 3 in 10 workers are planning to quit their job this year, and most of those quits are
See, that's crazy because I plan on quitting where I'm at soon. Like, literally, what was this? July 21st? Bro, dead ass, bro. That's facts. Literally, the work that we do and the economy that we're in, like, that shit doesn't align up. You know what I'm saying? The pay rate. You know what I'm saying? We can still be getting paid $18, 19, whatever, and working these hours. But then we gotta pay bills. We gotta pay this and that. We gotta get food, gas. Like, bro, like, come on now. And it's everything is double taxed. This shit is illegal. It literally is illegal, but nobody's doing shit about it. That's why they had a Boston Tea Party about this shit back in the day. But we're not doing shit about it because we're programmed to be thinking like that shit is okay. Great Resignation 2.0 could be on the horizon with 3 in 10 workers planning to quit in 2024. Survey shows low pay, desires for better benefits, search for less stressful work are some reasons behind the shift. Wait, are some reasons behind it? Yeah. Like literally, I just said I ain't even read that shit, but literally just low pay, desire for better benefits, search for less stressful work, bro. That ass.
Attributed to
Cause
Gen
they
Z
expect
and
us to be.
millennials. In fact,
My
quitting has
bad.
become so
They
popular.
they expect us to be robots, and they're literally a robot that jumped off a building and committed that word. You know what I'm saying?
That even this guy was forced to quit. So in today's video, I want to help answer a couple interesting questions like, what the heck is going on? Why have so
Yeah, my
many
shit
people
leaking.
quit their jobs in the last few years? And why are we still following a law that hasn't been changed since the 1940s about the 40-hour work week? And should you quit your job? There's a lot of really interesting data that I want to share with you about this. So with that said, let's get into it. Hi, my name is Andre Jick. Hope you're doing well. Come for the finance and stay for the jobs. Now, this video was inspired by another video that went absolutely viral about an MIT
I was about to
neurosurgeon
watch that
who
one.
quit
I'm gonna
his
watch that
job
one.
after working for 10 years, making
Maybe that's a
hundreds of
50-minute
thousands of
video.
dollars working on people's spines and brains. And he's just telling his story way up in the mountains. And it really caught my attention because I thought, how could someone quit such a prestigious job after working so long and making so much money? And he has a super interesting story that goes back 10 years ago when he took this oath to become a neurosurgeon. And what he found out was that the surgeries would help people from time to time, but more often than not, the surgeries did not help most people. So he started to ask his patients questions about their lives, like what kind of job they had, whether they were stressed or not, whether they exercised, and what they ate, and how long they slept. And he says that throughout all of it, he found out something really interesting. What he found
If you have a love of languages, you may want to consider a career in the Navy.
As a cryptologic technician in
was that the people that would be able to recover from his surgeries all had a couple things in common.
People that got better were having a mostly plant-based diet. They were definitely not eating salty, and they would do things that would make them sweat, like exercise, being outside, hiking like this, going to a sauna, or they live in a warm place. Uh, they didn't smoke. They didn't drink much. Usually had a good social support, like loved ones, family members, children, friends, um, like a way to socialize. They would sleep. They would sleep like 8 hours every day. And they weren't stressed out, or if they had a stressful job or something, they found a way to be mindful or meditate or like just be present and release the stress back into the universe.
Then he goes on to say that the people that couldn't maintain their health after the surgery were the opposite from those people. They were people that did not get a full 8 hours of sleep. They felt stressed a lot of times. They didn't exercise much, they didn't eat healthy food, and they didn't have a lot of friends or a support group to help them get through it. So surgeries for those people would help them temporarily, but then their body would go back to having pain again. And that's when he had his epiphany, the aha moment of how to actually help people. And he said that realization became a huge problem.
But the way that everything is set up in the whole country, it's not any particular hospital. The way things are set up is that the hospital needs to make money. The problem there is that if you figure out a way to help patients heal, and that way doesn't include a pill or a surgery, well, then the hospital and the doctor are in big trouble, because if you figure out a way to help people heal and you can't charge them for it, well, then you've just worked yourself out of a job.
Like
So once he had this realization, he said that he gained a lot of weight, he became sad, and that realization
that's
became a huge problem.
and this is America for you, bro. Like based all on money, bro. They don't care about our health. Like literally, there's so many things that I question. Like, is that really how it's supposed to go? Like, I don't even want to speak on it, but it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Hospitals, they don't, there's evil backstories all to this shit, and we all know this shit. and a doctor or neurosurgeon himself is saying that like that he took an oath, and the fact that if there's like uh, no surgery, no need for pills, whatever, then that's a loss of money for them. And like they gotta find a way to push a pill, push a surgery. You need this and that. Like, bruh, dead ass. There's so many ways that we could heal ourselves, like herbs and just meditating and doing things like that. I don't even do that. And I gotta get on that shit. I do the research and all that. I'm into conspiracies and spiritual shit like that, but I don't do none of it. I need to take care of like I swear I'm about to get on that. I'm about to get on that.
But the way that everything is set up
Mhm.
in the whole country, it's not any particular hospital. The way things are set up is that the hospital needs to make money. The problem there is that if you figure out a way to help patients heal, and that way doesn't include a pill or a surgery, well, then the hospital and the doctor are in big trouble, because if you figure out a way to help people heal and you can't charge them for it, well, then you've just worked yourself out of a job.
So once he had this realization, he said that he gained a lot of weight, he became sad and angry, and he realized that he couldn't continue working for another 20 years because he didn't think he'd live that long. So last September, he quit his job. And I really resonated with his story because I know how hard it is to work for something for 20 years only to realize that maybe that's not the thing you were supposed to do. So his story really made me wonder, why are people having these epiphanies and quitting their jobs? So the first place that I started looking at was at the data. And what I found was that more
If you're an artist like me, you know how daunting a blank page can be. So when it comes to starting a business,
people want to quit their job today than ever before. Big tech like Microsoft and LinkedIn, for example, showed that out of 31,000 people across 31 countries, 46% of them said that they want to quit. And that is a lot more people than even during the Great Resignation, when only 40% said they wanted to quit. So I put that data aside and I wanted to look deeper at the surveys into what actual people were telling us why they were quitting their jobs. And according to surveys from Statista, here were the top 10 major reasons why people are quitting their job today. Reason 10 is because employers required a vaccine. Reason 9 was working too few hours. Number 8, some people wanted to relocate to a different area. 7, some people thought they worked too many hours, or the benefits weren't good, or not enough flexibility. Reason number 4, childcare issues. Number 3, people felt disrespected at work. Number 2, some people felt they had no advancement opportunities, but the biggest reason is that they thought the pay was just too low. These are all real. Biggest reason is that they thought the pay
was too low, no advancement opportunities, felt disrespected at work because of childcare issues, not enough flexibility to choose hours, benefits weren't too good. And it's literally all those reasons. Pay. We should be getting a band a week regardless, unless you're in like I ain't not downplaying the fast food work. I say fast food workers at least 800 to 900. Warehouse workers 1,000, 1,500 a week. Yes, and then people up in the office doing like office work, you know what I'm saying, like the cybersecurity, blah blah. I was talking about I want to get into them motherfuckers. I don't know how much they get paid, but shit, goddamn, literally jobs, bro. We need to be getting this money to get like to pay all the shit that they want us to pay for. Gas, double tax, food, double tax. You get a motherfucking Reese's Pieces. That shit is $2.90 fucking cents. Like what the fuck?
was just too low. These are all really good reasons
And then what else?
for an area. 7, some people thought they worked too many hours, or the benefits weren't good, or not enough flexibility.
Like if we had the flexibility to choose hours, like choose what when we want to work, like how we want to work, like they gotta understand if they got thousands of people in the company, and the work is gonna get done regardless. If you set up a system to where if people have the freedom and flexibility to feel good and come in when they want and not be so tired and stressed out about working the previous day, then maybe it'll be good and flowing. Like literally, I promise you, the work is gonna be done. The work is gonna be getting done regardless. Like what? I'm
Reason
talking
number
too
4,
much, but it just
childcare
pisses me
issues.
off.
Number 3, people felt
And this is why people are
disrespected at
quitting,
work. Number
because
2,
it's just
some people
it's
felt they had no
irritating, man.
advancement opportunities, but the biggest reason is that they thought the pay was just too low. These are all really good reasons for anyone to quit their job. But the problem is, they're not new. Anyone could quit their job for any of these reasons in any given year. And it doesn't really help me explain this phenomena of why so many people have quit so recently. So I decided to look back farther into the past. And the deeper I looked, the more this picture started to make sense. Because the real problem started before most of us were even born. We have to go back to 1940.
Let's
That's
do it.
when the FLSA, or the Fair Labor
back in
Standards Act, was changed from a 44-hour work week to a 40-hour work week.
Hold up. I'm talking.
Changed from a 44-hour work week
44
to a
to 40.
40-hour work week in order to increase productivity. It was also then when we decided for the 2-day weekend how much someone would get paid working overtime, what it meant to be full-time and part-time. Now, those laws were based on the economic conditions and the productivity levels of that time. But here's the problem. Over the last 80 years, we've had a huge technological revolution. We invented automation, computing, instant communication, the exchange of information, the internet, AI, and all of that meant an increase to what's called productivity growth, meaning the same worker could now do way more work in a shorter amount of time. And data shows that since 1947, productivity growth has skyrocketed. So here's what all that means. If we take two people, one with access to 2024 technology and one with access to 1947 technology, it's the person who's using modern technology who can make, on average, almost 5 times as much stuff as the other person, or get 5 times as much work done. That also means one of two things. If we can do more stuff, but we're not making more money, we can maybe work less. But obviously we know that's not the case. Most people are still working 40-hour work weeks or more if they're on a salary. Or there's option 2, which is
But that motherfucker throwing ads every 10 seconds, boy. I need to get that ad blocker.
we make more money. But here's the data of what actually happened. Not only are people working multiple jobs today, which was not the norm in the 1940s, but wage growth has not kept up with productivity. In fact, it split sometime in the early 1970s. The question is, why did it split? And the answer is pretty complicated because there's a lot of reasons, so I put together just a few of them. There was something called the Taft-Hartley Act of 1947, for example, which restricted the activity and power of labor unions, and that led to the decline in union membership and union power. This law stopped allowing unions from making donations to federal political campaigns, which meant less representation for the workers. Then in 1962, there was the investment tax credit, which encouraged businesses to invest in new machinery and technology, which increased the development of automation and efficiency. Then we got 1974 and the Trade Act of 1974, which encouraged companies to relocate their manufacturing overseas. And manufacturing overseas meant more jobs went overseas, which also lowered wage growth here in the United States. Then in the 1970s, there was the oil shock, which led to high inflation
So
and
what
an
is the
economic
reason
slowdown.
behind, you know
That
what, I'm
created
gonna let the
something
video play
called
out.
stagflation, which slowed the wage growth
And
and
my shit dead.
decoupled it from productivity even more. Then there was even more inflation thanks to Nixon's wage and price controls. And in 1978, there was the Airline Deregulation Act, which increased competition in the industry and lowered job security and benefits for workers. Then there was a huge shift towards maximizing shareholder value, and that's when companies started to prioritize profit making over workers and their wage growth. Then in the 1980s, there were the right to work laws, which allowed people to not pay their union dues, and that made the unions less money, which made them less effective. After this law, some studies show that wages dropped 1% 5 years after the law was passed. And it keeps on getting worse, because in 1980, the same thing that happened to the airline industry happened to the trucking industry with the Motor Carrier Act of 1980, which led to deregulation, which increased competition and lowered job security and benefits for workers. And then we got the 1990s, and the world became more globalized.
The nations of North America are ready.
Strengthened by the explosion of growth and trade.
To recognize that there is no turning back from the world of today and tomorrow.
The North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA, lowered trade barriers between the US, Canada, and Mexico, which increased competition from lower-wage countries. Then in the 2000s, China joined the World Trade Organization, which increased imports from China and put a huge pressure on American wages because of the lower labor costs. Then in the 2010s, we got the rise of the gig economy. We got apps like Uber and Lyft, and those apps were great in allowing people to make more money. But it also led to the gig economy, which came without the wage protections and the standard employment benefits. Combine all of that with the crazy growth we've seen in the stock market and in real estate due to liquidity as a means to pay the debt from our past, and you get the world as we know it today. All in all, these are some of the reasons why workers today can get a lot more work done, but why they get paid less for it. And the expectations for workers are higher than they've ever been before, and that has led to burnout. But I also think there's one more thing. Like I said, this has been building for 80 years now, and what's led people to the edge of this burnout to quit was the pandemic. But really, the best answer that I could find that helps explain all of it is this.
People have been living to work for a very long time, and I think the pandemic brought that moment of reflection for everyone. What do I want to do? What makes my heart sing? And people are thinking, if not now, then when?
And I think she's absolutely right. Before, the mentality was, we should live so that we could work so that we can pay our bills. And that was the illusion that we all believed in, as long as the times were good. Back when cars and houses were more attainable, when food was a lot cheaper, when gas prices weren't so high, when utility bills were more reasonable, when restaurants didn't ask for a tip for every single transaction. And then we got the pandemic, and the global economy was shut down and everything was brought to a standstill. So the government tried to bail us out by printing trillions of dollars and causing an excess of 20% inflation over the last few years. And that was the moment when there was this mental shift in how we thought, not just about our jobs, but about our lives. Because we went from living so that we can work to working so that we can live. Because if the jobs we work impact our mental health, which has a direct effect on the quality of our lives and how long we live for, I think that's why people are rethinking everything and prioritizing and maximizing for happiness instead. And I think those are the reasons for why these changes are taking place in the last few years. And I think you're going to see a lot more of these stories about more and more people wanting to quit their jobs. A recent survey, for example, noticed that out of 1,000 people polled, roughly a third said they'd be looking to quit and start a new job soon. And the highest percentage of those people came from people between the ages of 18 to 34. And that makes perfect sense to me, because when you're younger, you tend to move around a lot anyway because you're still trying to figure it out. But I also think there's this effect that the younger generation sees the outcome of the older generation. They look at the economy and everything that's going on, and they make the choices that they do. Which isn't to say that they're good or bad, that's a separate discussion. But one thing that I think is true is CEOs are not going to watch this video and be like, this young man has a point here, let's pay them more and allow them to work less. So I think the only other question that I want to help explore is, should you quit your job? And the answer, of course, is that it depends. I actually took a quiz from the Washington Post about my job making videos here on social media. I'll leave a link for it down below, but I consider myself to be extremely lucky, because even though these videos take a lot of work to make and I'm a one-man team, I don't have any editors. I'm the only person that scripts and shoots and edits and plans for these videos and answers the comments and everything else. I think it's extremely rewarding. I think the thing I look forward to the most is knowing that at least one of my videos helped someone out there with something. I think validation goes a long, long way. But so does making money, which is why experts say you should have anywhere between 6 months to 1 year for emergency expenses if you do decide to quit. And studies also show that switching jobs, especially early on, is the fastest way to grow your income. In fact, it's actually recommended that you should switch your job every 2 to 3 years, which is the best strategy to grow your income. And I wish I did that with my last career, but you know, I never said I was any good. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. Are you staying with your job? Are you quitting? And if you are, why? And do you still think we should be working a 40-hour work week? As always, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to grab your free stocks. Links.
Good video. What's your name? We got to see. Andre G. But yeah, like, what's your opinion on quitting your job or staying there? How long do you plan on staying at your job? Do you have anything, like, do you have any plans to move on? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is your dream job, career, whatever? Like, do you want to work a job? Some people say like, oh, that question's crazy. Like, what is your dream job? Like, to me, I don't want a job. Like, I want to do this YouTube shit, and somehow, like, yeah, just this YouTube. That's really it. YouTube and selling clothing, but literally prices like going up like all these damn years past, like since 1940s and shit. They've been fucking up. It fucked up. I think the wage slash like product price thing like comparison shit fucked up in the 70s or whatever because all the import taxes and everything on all the products and shit. But still though, why the fuck are they gonna make all these products free, like freer prices back then, and then do all this shit? Like I don't get it, bro. It's just fucked up. We're just fucked up. America's economy is fucked up. We're 26 minutes in this shit, but I'm yapping. Hope y'all enjoyed the video, learned something new. I did, but check down in the description for the clothing shop and hit that subscribe button. I'm on the upload streak, so sorry for the no edits in the video, and yeah. I'm just uploading, bro. Yeah, let's get it. Love y'all.